Did you know you can build your own web app in just a few hours using AI, even if you have no coding experience? To prove it, let's build it together. First up is, of course, how to pick a viral app idea. Next up, building our app with Cursor, V0, and Vercel, setting up DeepSeek's API as our AI chatbot, and finally, deploying the website to production. In case you're wondering why you should listen to me, real quick, I'm James. I was a machine learning engineer at Uber and AWS. I built my first successful solo AI startup, Chatshape.com, in 2023, and it was acquired by a large company after many failed attempts at previous startups. So I have a pretty good idea of what works and what doesn't. Let's get into this. Step 1, how do you actually find a viral app idea? It's simple. Instead of trying to come up with your own product that might not have any real demand, you can copy an existing idea that has proven demand, a proven market, copy it straight up, and then over time add features to differentiate your app. This is the winning formula. Chasing after originality will only lead you to spending months building something nobody wants, or that you can't effectively market to users. Let's build an app that lets you generate a chatbot from any website link. Basically, the user can paste in a website link, the AI will crawl the website, and then now you have a personal AI for any knowledge base. This has so many use cases, and there are plenty of versions of this app that are actually making money. We have two options for how we are going to build the front end of our website. We can build everything from scratch inside Cursor AI, which is going to take a lot more time. I'm just going to start with a template. That way we shortcut a lot of the processes that we would have to go through. I am on the vercel.com/templates page. Here they have a bunch of different application templates that are amazing. Today we are going to be checking out the Morphic. This is the template we're going to use to build our entire application, because you can actually go to the demo and they have a fully fledged ChatGPT clone here. So I can ask it, why is NVIDIA growing rapidly? It'll do a search and then it'll return an answer using the GPT-4o, I think. I want to use DeepSeek for our application. We're going to make a couple of modifications to this chatbot. Go to the Morphic GitHub page, click on this code button. Next up, you want to copy this clone target, go back to Cursor, and then here I'm just going to type git clone and then paste in that target. Now what's going to happen is it's going to copy over that entire project into our Cursor project. Go ahead and follow the rest of the installation steps, like installing the dependencies and then adding in your DeepSeek API key to your environment file. This is going to be required in order to use the DeepSeek API. I can now run bun dev, and that should open up a localhost instance of the application, just the template. I want to make sure everything's running perfectly. There you go. Click on localhost 3000, and now it should load up the chatbot. And as you can see, we now have our chatbot. I included the API key for the DeepSeek model, so I can ask, hey, there. And our application even has dark mode, so this is pretty cool. Now let's expand this application by adding a little input box above the chat bar here, where we can allow the user to enter in the website, and then the AI will add that website's content. It'll crawl it, add all of it to its knowledge base. In Cursor Composer, I have a message to the model saying update the UI, where above the main chat box for the user input, we have a website input box, and to the right of that, a button, add to knowledge. I'm going to submit that. And I'm also adding the code base, which means I want you to look at the entire code base for this project, for this question. You can see Cursor is now reading all of those files, and now it's generating new code that is going to update the UI, which I'm going to accept the entire file of changes, or just click accept all over here. And that is so cool. You could now enter a website URL. There's a nice button here that goes well with the theme of the page, if I were to say. And you can see it even includes a notification pop-up, website added to knowledge base. We have all of the UI set up now in Cursor, but you can see here it has added a to-do, where here you would integrate with your retrieve tool or knowledge base. So now we build that next. The user will input the website link. The website will be crawled by the crawler API, and all of that text will be stored in the vector store. In order to host this crawler API component, we need to run it somewhere in the cloud so that our website can connect to it via the internet. So the way we're going to do that is through Replit. So to create our backend, I'm going to ask Composer, I want to build a separate backend in a new folder where we have a Python file, and we will call an API to scrape the website and fill in that vector store. And I want to use crawl4AI, which is a crawling library for Scraper, and Supabase for the vector DB. So I'm going to submit that. After a couple of hours of going back and forth with Cursor Composer, I now have a full front end, a backend for our scraper, and even a database. It is absolutely insane that I did not write a single line of this code, and yet it should work. So let's test it out. I already have the backend running in a separate terminal, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and run .dev to run the front end like we did before. So to test it out, I'm going to include a link to the OpenAI website and add that to the knowledge base. You can see it was added here with the notification. Now I'm going to ask, what is deep research? Because that's what the article is about. Bam, found in vector database. You could see now our application has integrated with the backend as well as the database that the backend is communicating with. And you can see it's even included an article to the OpenAI website, which is amazing. But what if you don't like the styling of the app template that you started with? What if I want to change up some of the UI? Well, that's where the next tool, V0, comes in. V0 is brilliant because they can help you ship ideas, products, and basically make them look beautiful. And this is basically your AI front-end coder. For example, I could say I'd like an updated version of this chat UI that includes some animated elements and more details, but with a gradient. Put your soul behind it. And I could go over to the chat panel, copy that over here, and then paste that in. Now V0 is thinking and is going to make its adjustments to the code and then show me a preview of what it looks like when it's done. Just to show you an example of what it looks like after you've jammed back and forth with V0, you can get something like this. You can see when I move around the cursor, it does this animation thing, which can be touched up. I can basically ask V0 for any changes that I want. But this was a template that then V0 added its own modifications to, and I think it looks amazing. Now I am fully ready to ship this app, but before I do, I didn't want to create a custom logo for our new app. So I'm just going to ask playground.com. This is an amazing AI logo generator, and it's free from what I can tell. So I'm just going to ask it to change the cowboy to a robot. It kept the cowboy hat, but I'm just going to export this. I could probably keep going and get what I want exactly for the logo, but I'm just going to download what we have. Now, to actually deploy your app to production so other people can use it, it's actually the easiest part. All you need to do to deploy the front end is add your project to GitHub, and then you can import the project into Vercel, and that's it. Vercel will handle it all for you. And you can use Replit to deploy your backend Python functions like I will do for our scraper backend. Couple of extra tips to make the AI coding experience optimal for you. I was using the crawl4 AI library to build that backend scraper, but of course Cursor doesn't know about that library because it's new. If you have a library or API you want to use, well, you can teach Cursor about it. All you need to do is go to Cursor Composer, type in @docs, then go down to add new doc, and then here you are going to paste in the link to the documentation website. Now Cursor is going to crawl all of that and learn it. And so now if I wanted to make a change using the crawl4AI docs, I just type @crawl4AI and then ask my question or tell Cursor what to do. Killer feature. I hope you found the ideas in this video helpful. If you have any thoughts or ideas on how to build apps differently or how you do things, feel free to share them in the comments. See you next time.